Now to a Target 8 investigation, the story of two young boys with so much in common. Both young, both named after their fathers.
They lived within a half-mile of each other and both drowned in retention ponds near their homes. Tonight, Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker examines the dangers posed by these ponds and the steps some say are needed to protect children.
You don't want to go in there. They'll get you. They'll chomp you up and then you're done. I ain't gonna even bring you to the hospital. I don't care. I'll just leave you there and the gator can have you.
Matt Orcasitas hoped the scary story about alligators and snakes in the pond behind their apartment would keep his 3 young kids out of the water. Then, at 9 one morning,
Eve came upstairs and woke me up and said that Matthew is in the pond.
Her little brother, just 18 months old, face down in the water at Traditions Apartments in Holland Township.
She remembers the day that he drowned, unfortunately.
5 years later, and a half-mile away, another toddler, 3-year-old A.J. Ruiz, unlocked the front door of his dad's apartment at midnight during a thunderstorm, wandered out with the family dog, something he'd done before. Grandma in the bathroom, Dad at work.
And he really loved his daddy. And I'm sure he was waiting for him.
It was the dog that tried twice to lead the family to his body in the retention pond, 130 yards away.
His idea was to go to the playground, but it being dark, instead he ended up in the water.
AJ's drowning a year ago this Friday at West Ottawa Townhomes led to a vigil and calls for a fence. A year later, no fence, and concerns about kids who swing and slide on the playground next to the pond.
And the question in my mind is, are these children of less importance than a person who has more means in life and has a swimming pool and they need to have it fenced in? So is my great-grandson of less value?
That's what families of both boys don't understand. If pools require fences, why not these? To look at the bigger picture, Target 8 flew over West Michigan, where retention ponds dot the landscape, perhaps thousands in Kent and Ottawa counties alone, many in apartment complexes and many without fences.
AJ was not the first person to drown in a pond similar to this, and unless fences are built, he won't be the last.
5-year-old Chesney Allen died in this pond.
Across the nation, similar stories. Around Indianapolis, 16 drownings in retention ponds the last 5 years have led to calls for fences and other safety measures. Retention ponds are required at developments. That's because buildings and parking lots cause rainwater to rush to rivers and streams. The ponds help slow that flow. Ottawa County requires gradual drop-offs, much like natural lakes, not reaching 2 feet deep until a dozen feet from shore. Even stricter guidelines in Kent County.
So at 18 feet out, it's only 3 feet deep.
But no inspections Target 8 has found to make sure that the job is done right. The pond outside West Ottawa Townhomes where AJ drowned drops off quickly. Doesn't meet the Ottawa County Drain Commission standards.
2 feet? Almost 2 feet.
But those apartments were built in 1996, a year before the standards went into effect, so they don't apply. West Ottawa Townhomes management kicked us off the property last week, and the owner, listed in records as West Ottawa Townhomes of Brighton, did not return our calls. Paul Geerlings, Ottawa County's Drain Commissioner, questions the need for fences.
Well, if you're going to fence in a pond that's designed exactly like Lake Michigan shoreline, do we want to see a fence down Lake Michigan shoreline? I think, you know, some things are meant to happen. You know, it's a higher power that does it.
And I had to break the ice to get to him and pull him out of the water.
Matt Kimber lives at West Ottawa Townhomes and rescued a young boy who had fallen through the ice there several winters ago. He says parents need to watch kids closely.
If I'm around and they're by the pond, then they can be by the pond, but I'm not going to be having them out by the pond without me around.
Relatives of AJ and Matthew say this could have happened to any parent. Police found no neglect. Back at Traditions, a half-mile away, Matt Orcasitas holds a photo of his son, who would be 7 now.
He was a little stinker.
The drowning of little Matthew led to a lawsuit against the owner, who settled for $22,000. The owner of Traditions has installed a fence to the relief of this mom who now lives with her 2 little kids in the same apartment Matthew's family did. She recently moved from West Ottawa townhomes, where AJ drowned last year.
They're not going to go around it. They're not going to find a way through it, in it. They know they can't go to the water, can't reach it.
In Holland Township, Ken Kolker, Target 8.